This excerpt is from Ethan Cadfael, Battle Prince. I wrote this in between two much darker books, and I kind of needed a bit of brain floss to clear my mind a little bit from all the heavy dark stuff that I was writing about and thus almost experiencing. This book is unabashedly just fun fantasy fluff. So this is from chapter 1 and a little bit of chapter 2. It probably won't last the full half hour. So if there are questions afterwards, I can take them. Otherwise, we can just stand here in awkward silence. So, chapter 1. Happy Halloween, suckers! Ethan yelled, the words muffled behind the wolf mask he wore. He tripped the weedy Asian kid who had been hurrying past. His teammates snickered as the boy scrambled to his feet and raced off, muttering to himself in Cantonese. At 21, and flying through Ottawa's Carleton University on a lacrosse scholarship, Ethan Evans owned the world. Towering above almost everyone at an impressive 6 foot 4 inches and broadly built, he played a wicked midfield game, beg your pardon, switching easily to attack should the team be down a man. Black hair and striking blue eyes ensured he was the darling of his year at Carleton. There wasn't a girl in any of his classes that didn't want him in their beds. Obscene numbers of girls dressed up as Playboy bunnies begged him for a dance at the Halloween party at Oliver's, the university's pub-style hangout. He had nothing to prove. He walked away from Carleton's University Center with his lacrosse teammates towards Bronson Avenue, there to await the bus that would take them downtown for a more adult party. So, Harrison said with a grin, Barrymore's? Sure, Ethan replied in his usual, I don't care as long as there's booze and girls turn. Is Mike coming? Gordon asked. If his girlfriend lets him, Harrison replied. Ethan scoffed. Man, that girl is a bitch. I don't know why Mike bothers with her. I heard she's got no gag reflex. The group snickered. Yo, Ethan, Mike called as he jogged up the foggy path. Ethan! Man, where were you? Harrison asked as Mike slowed to a walk beside his teammates. Sorry guys, Wendy had a party at hers and I had to attend. Could have told us sooner, Gordon grumbled. We waited for you. She sprung it on me. Didn't you tell her you already had plans? Of course I did. Yeah, of course you did. Shut up. So how do you get away? Ethan asked. Compromise, Mike said with a shrug. See? Harrison said. No gag reflex. Everyone snickered and Mike threw a punch at Harrison, who dodged neatly. The two chased each other for a while as the rest of the team strode along. The fog was horrifically thick. It added much to the ambience of the Halloween night, and the boys took full advantage of it, hooting and howling as they walked along, all keeping in character. The team had decided to spend their Halloween as a werewolf pack. I'm totally Team Jacob, a very drunk freshman dressed as a mermaid said as she shuffled past them. Ethan snarled and leapt after her. She screamed and stumbled away, almost falling in her very restrictive tail. The boys laughed and continued on. They talked mostly sports as they walked down the newly laid path. Only the presence of the lamps on their left indicated they were on the path at all. Man, this fog is annoying, Mike grumbled at last. I can't see a thing. As if to prove his point, he stumbled. What the? He said as his teammates hooted their derision at him. Drunk already? Ethan asked with a laugh. Shut up, I tripped on something. Oh, sure you did. No, I did. Mike walked back up the path, peering through the fog in an effort to locate the something he had stepped on. Come on, Mike, Harrison complained. We're gonna miss the bus. Shut up, Mike said. He stopped at about where he tripped and looked down. Lying on the path, barely visible, was a long grayish thing. Mike bent down to take a closer look. When he realized that it was a hand and an arm, he leapt backwards with a shriek. The others fell about laughing, pausing in their laughter to mimic the high-pitched scream Mike had managed to utter. Shut up, Mike said. It's a hand. Eh? Ethan walked forward to investigate. He knelt down and poked at the hand. The metallic rustle of chainmail answered his poking. So it is. Is he all right? Mike asked. Who cares? Ethan said, standing. Probably just some idiot who couldn't handle his drink. Come on, the bus will be here any minute. I think we should make sure he's all right first. Ethan rolled his eyes. Bleeding hard, honestly. Just go in and check. You found him. You go in and check. Mike stared at the small cluster of stunted ferns that had recently been planted near the campus's Bronson pedestrian entrance. In the fog with a potential dead body, it seemed the most sinister place in the world. Yo, man. You go. Ethan rolled his eyes. Fine, he said. Pussy. He turned back to the rest of the team, who hadn't moved. "You're Gordo, you still got that flashlight?" Gordon sighed and walked forward. He pulled the torch from his back pocket. "Seriously?" he asked as he handed it over. "Shut up," Ethan replied. He unscrewed the top of the torch so it no longer displayed the image of a ghost, and turned it on. He pointed it in the trees to reveal a body in chainmail with leather pauldrons, fan braces, and an enameled and embossed leather breastplate. The helmet was bronze-looking, with a boar on the crest. "Cool costume," Ethan said. He stepped forward and nudged the body with his foot. "Hey, you alright, bud?" Other than the disturbance of being nudged, the hapless drunk didn't move. Ethan looked back. "Well?" Mike asked. Ethan scowled and walked further in. He crouched by the body. "Hey, Ethan," Harrison called. "I see the bus. Come on, let's go." "Hold up," Ethan called back. He reached down and pulled the helm off the head and nearly dropped the torch in surprise. "Yo, it's a girl," he called back. "What?" Mike said. He and Gordon exchanged a glance and edged into the firs together. "Holy shit," Gordon said, joining Ethan. A young woman in full armor, with blonde hair that frizzed and escaped the long braids she wore, lay on the ground. Large, wide-set eyes were closed beneath a smooth, white brow. "She's kind of pretty," Mike said. "Is she breathing?" Ethan placed his fingers beneath the girl's nose. The faintest hint of warmth confirmed she was. He nodded. The sounds of the bus roaring along Bronson reached the group. "Yo!" Harrison yelled. "The bus is here!" Mike left the cluster of firs to spy Harrison and the rest of the team sprinting across Bronson Avenue just as the number 4 pulled up. "Yo!" he called. "We'll meet you there!" Harrison yelled back. Mike shook his head and, grumbling under his breath, went back to Ethan and Gordon, while the others had all gone to Barrymore's. "Hey, look!" Gordon said, moving away a little. He picked up an object. "A sword! Man, it's heavy. I wonder if it's real." He ran his thumb along the edge of the blade and cut himself. "Ow! Shit!" he said before plunging his bleeding thumb into his mouth. He dropped the sword back to the ground and trudged back to Ethan and Mike. "You are so stupid," Mike said. He turned back to Ethan and the girl. "Real armor? Real sword? I wonder where she got this costume from. Wait, dude. Is that blood?" Ethan turned his attention back to the unconscious girl on the ground. He ran the light of the torch away from her face to her chest. A large gash in her breastplate oozed a dark liquid. Ethan tentatively reached out and touched it. It was warm and sticky and very red. "Oh man!" Mike immediately pulled out his mobile phone and dialed 911. 911, please state your emergency," a female voice on the end of the line said. "Yo, there's a girl here and she's bleeding pretty bad." "Alright, sir. Please tell me where you are." Carleton University, the Bronson pedestrian entrance. Please send an ambulance quick, she's hurt bad." "An ambulance has been dispatched. Please stay on the line and I'll talk you through some basic first aid." Okay. "Is she breathing?" "Yeah, we think so." "Can you see the wound?" "Well, she's wearing armor." "Armor?" "Yeah, like chainmail and stuff." "Okay, and you can't see where the blood is coming from?" "Hang on." Mike placed his hand over the mouthpiece of his mobile. "Yo man, can you see where the blood's coming from?" "I can see it," Ethan said. "Okay," Mike answered. "He reckons he can." "He?" "Yeah, my friend Ethan, he's with the girl." "Alright, tell Ethan he needs to put pressure on the wound. It will help stem the blood flow." "Yo man," Mike told Ethan, "you gotta stop the bleeding." Ethan glared at Mike. "She said put pressure on the wound." "Oh man," Ethan complained beneath his breath. All the same, he placed his hand over the gash in the armor and pressed. The girl shuddered and did not wake. "Hey, when is the ambulance going to get here?" No sooner had Ethan asked than 2 police cars and an ambulance roared down Bronson, stopping before the pedestrian entrance to the campus. In a blur, Ethan was relieved of his duties by 2 paramedics, and he, Mike, and Gordon were taken aside by the policeman. "Is she going to be alright?" Ethan asked as he was dragged away from the paramedics. "Don't know, son," the officer dragging away said. "Come away now." 3 boys were taken to the police cars where a second officer waited. She left to investigate the scene as they arrived. "Are we in trouble?" Gordon asked. "We just need a statement." Ethan, Gordon, and Mike stood despondently by the police cars in a close group while the officers took down their names, their ages, and their version of the events that transpired that night. "And it was you who tripped over her?" the officer asked, pointing his pen at Gordon. No, officer," Mike said. "That was me." "So you're the one who found her?" "Yes, sir." "And you're Mike, right?" "Yes, sir." "Alright." Ethan half listened as he watched the paramedics lift the girl onto the gurney and wheel her into the ambulance. One paramedic approached. "All done here, Bill," he said. "There's a lot of blood on the ground and a couple of weapons. She's barely alive." The paramedic turned to Ethan and smiled. Lucky you found her when you did. She might make it yet. Weapons? The officer who'd been taking the statement said in surprise. Yeah, sword and a dagger. Alright, thanks, John. The paramedic grunted. You have a good night. Yeah, you too. John jogged to the ambulance and clambered in. The driver pulled away and sped off down Bronson, sirens blazing, heading towards the Ottawa Hospital yard. Oh yeah, Gordon said meekly. I found the sword and picked it up. And cut his thumb on it, Ethan said. Idiot. Shut up. But you didn't see a dagger, Bill asked him. No, officer, just a sword. Bill grunted and made a note while his companion returned from the scene and spoke into a walkie-talkie. Dispatch, he said with a thick French accent. We need forensics down here, probable crime scene. The radio crackled an inaudible response, but Ethan was no longer paying attention. Crime scene? Everything's a crime scene until we decide otherwise. Jesus. Bill raised an eyebrow at the three boys. Werewolves? Yeah, Mike said. We're a pack. Right. Look, this is suspicious, and since you're the ones who found the victim, we need you to stay close, alright? We live here on campus, officer, and it's the middle of term. We're not going anywhere. Alright, good. I need your contact details. The boys gave them their details as more howling police cars pulled up, the roof lights flashing eerily through the dense fog. The police cordoned off the area, and soon the foggy night was lit up with the bright flashes of cameras as forensics painstakingly photographed the scene. One policewoman had a difficult time keeping the gathering horde of onlookers from coming too close. Right, that's everything, Officer Bill said with a tight smile. His crisp blue eyes examined each boy carefully. You're free to go. We will be contacting you. Yes, officer, Ethan said absently. You boys have a good night now. You too, Gordon said. Happy Halloween. Bill grunted. He got into his car and, lighting up the roof, roared back to the station. Ethan slapped Gordon on the back of the head. Happy Halloween? What else was I supposed to say? Gordon protested. Man, Mike said, you really are stupid. What do we do now? Gordon said. I mean, the others are all at Barrymore's, waiting. First thing I'm going to do is go home and wash this blood off my hand. Then I'm heading to Mike's place for a cold beer. Not going to Barrymore's then? Ethan shook his head. You really feel like dancing after finding somebody who might have been murdered? She's not dead, Mike pointed out. Almost, Ethan said. Jesus, I'm feeling a bit sick. Let's head back then and get you cleaned up. The three boys turned back and marched up the path to Dundas' house, where Mike and Ethan shared a room. They walked back in complete silence. Ethan, once there, felt the need to take a full-body shower and scrub himself vigorously. The other two simply changed from their costumes. Before long, they were sitting in the pub with a pitcher of Keith's Red between them. Formerly the hangout for graduate students, now taken over by anyone who could legally drink. The pub had a typical small pub feel. Tonight, however, it had a sad air. Chapter 2. It was well past morning when the police finished their work at Bronson Avenue pedestrian. Oh, sorry, it was well past 2 in the morning when the police finished their work at Bronson Avenue pedestrian entrance to the Carleton University campus. Leaving the cordon up, they packed up and drove off, relieved to be out of the heavy cold mist. Officer Bill Jackman had just finished his paperwork when the squad cars pulled up. He went to the kitchen and filled a third cup of coffee. Long night, he noted to his partner. Officer Bulldog, a petite blonde woman with a bright smile and a penchant for green eyeshadow, shrugged. It's a complete mystery. The girl's tracks indicated she arrived from the east, the boys from the north. There are no tracks but the girls leading to the scene from the east, and none but the boys leading away from it. It's odd. Reckon they did it? Well, I haven't interviewed it, but it seems unlikely. You? They seemed pretty genuine. Not the killer type, you know. Bill sighed and rubbed his forehead. I have to wait to hear back from the doctors in any case. First word is, it looks like a wound by a broad, thick, slightly blunt blade. What, like a sword? Yeah, or an axe. An axe? That's what the surgeon said. Bill shook his head. I hate Halloween. That's it.